What's good, creators? Welcome back to Monzon Media. Today, Skylim Luminar AI released the latest update 1.2, version 1.2, and that includes the sky reflection within Sky AI. Now, for many of you, this was a long awaited feature, but unfortunately, the bad news is there still is no Bokeh AI. Now, of course, there were other improvements done with this release, but I don't know about you, I want to take a look at Sky AI with reflections. So once you open up Luminar AI, you should be prompted to download the update. Now, if you haven't, you can go up to the Luminar icon and go to Help, check for updates. And as you see, mine is the current version available, but if yours is the previous version, you can initiate the update at that point. So I have an image here. This is a stock photo where it already has some reflections. And the way this works is that when you put a new sky in here, we're going to go into Sky AI here. And I'm going to choose something like super dramatic here. Let's try this one, Sunset Clouds 2. And as you can already see, the reflections in the water. Let's compare that to the previous one. What makes this update really cool is if you look down here, you have more options under Sky AI that wasn't there before. We're going to go ahead and play around with the reflection amount here. I'm going to crank this all the way up, and you see how much of that reflection comes off the water. See, if I bring it down, it's gone. Bring it back up. And if you go just above here, you have scene relighting. But let's look at how this works, relight strength. So what it's going to do is light the scene according to the sky. You see how it's getting much darker? Kind of more dramatic there. There's also a saturation slider here, and it's very subtle, but it does kind of give it a bit more depth. And yeah, that's basically how this works. It's fairly simple. I'm going to show you another quick example here. So I'm going to pick a sky that would complement this image. There we go. I kind of like that. So the very first thing I want to do here is adjust the sky. So if you look at the original image, you see that the depth of field is very narrow. I'm presuming they're using, something like f2, maybe 1.8, that kind of aperture. So I want to match that in terms of the sky. So we're going to blur the sky out to match the depth of field. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to go back to scene relight here. So I'm going to relight the scene just a bit here first. We'll give it a little bit of saturation. And this is where Relight Human, this is a new feature that they brought in. It's going to correct the exposure in a sense. So the more I bring it up, you see now it blends in a bit more. It looks more natural. So if we do a before and after, you see how she's really bright. Like if I bring this back down, she is way too bright. So what this does, it blends in the exposure with the surroundings. It's a really, really neat feature. So yeah, I'd be totally happy with this photo. The other thing I wanted to mention too here, they've added some new things to orientation. Now, there was horizontal blending before. Now they've added these three new options where you can vertically offset. So you can offset up and down. And then you can also offset left to right. So see how the sun was naturally behind her at first? You could actually bring it over to make it more visible if you wanted to. Bring it over to the left, which is really cool. And then if you had a picture that had interesting angles and perspectives, you can also now rotate the horizon to match that scene. And one of the other things I wanted to show you really quickly here is being able to import some PNG files for overlays or textures. So for example, if I go to local masking here and I wanted to add an overlay, you can go under load texture. I'm going to choose this one. And you see it's going to load that texture. And if I were to go to advanced settings here, obviously I can, play with the opacity. Or I can go to overlay, play with it there to give it, kind of that different look. And if I wanted to mask it out, I would just click on the eraser and mask it out from her. I'll just do this really quickly. I would normally take my time. So if I wanted the overlay around her, it would just show up there. And the other benefit of loading PNG files is if you have a watermark or signature, maybe you have a logo, you could do that here now. So as I load my texture here, if you click on place texture, you can increase or decrease the size by clicking on the handles on the corners to resize it here. Now, if I were to resize it from the top or the side, it's going to distort the image accordingly, right? The previous workaround to bring in a watermark was so convoluted. This is much easier to do. Now, there are a few more things that they added to this update, but what fun would it be if I told you everything? I'll leave the link to the official article from Skylum Luminar AI in the description below, so make sure to check that out. So let me know in the comments below if you like this update, if you find it useful, and if you've been using Luminar AI, what are your thoughts up to this point since the release late last year? Now on with the formalities as usual. Subscribe, like, notification bell, I appreciate all 545 of you, at least as of today. So until the next video, I gotta come up with a better ending. Yeah, everybody says the same thing. So for now, make a coffee, grab a tea, and have a drink with me. How's that? No? Yeah? I don't know. See ya.